Hey, what's up guys? In this video you will learn how to model, shade, animate and render in Blender with the donut. Hope you like it. Open Blender first. I'm using 3.0 version of Blender for this tutorial. If you want to download it, I will leave the link in the description. So now what I'm gonna do is in this 3D viewport, I'm gonna select everything by pressing A and X to delete, because I don't need any of that things. Now Shift A to add. Now go to Mesh and add a torus. If you click on this button, you can open this panel and change the measure radius to like 0.45, and here is our donut. Under modifier settings, add a subdivision surface modifier to the donut. So now let's name it donut first and make the levels up to 2. Right click and shade smooth. Now go to sculpting. In this tab, right click and increase radius, and strength should be a bit decreased. Now if I sculpt it by left click, you can see I'm sculpting. It should be like a donut, like a realistic donut. Go to layout now, and then what I'm gonna do is by pressing tab, go to edit mode, and by pressing 1 on the number pad, I can change the view like this, and go to wireframe view, select these vertices here, shift D to duplicate, right click to undo the movement of the duplicate, P for another object, and click on selection, get out of edit mode, go to solid view, select the icing, yeah, let's name it icing, just like Blender Guru. So by selecting the icing, add a solidify modifier, move the solidify modifier to first, and now I want to increase offset to about minus 0.4 and thickness to about 0.045. Okay, now next step I'm gonna go to edit mode now. By pressing A, I will select all vertices here, right click and subdivide, and click on this button here, click on the snap button and change it to face, turn on project individual elements, turn on proportional editing, and now what I'm gonna do is select any of these vertices and G and Z to move. And if it is looking really mad now, but if I scroll up the mouse, I can see what's happening, and you can see it. Check it by going to object mode, by the way, if you want, and move it to here. Check if there are no problems with the donut or the icing. It will definitely get smoother when we render. It's not looking that good because now what I'm gonna do is select these two vertices here and E to extrude and Z to extrude down or up. I will extrude it down, of course, like this. Now let's turn this off and extrude some other vertices too, and these are meltings of the icing. Extrude it like this, and let's extrude 3 vertices this time. Move to here, select this one, G, Z, move to here. It's the big one. Okay, check if there are no problems with the donut. Okay, just like this, it's going smooth. Okay, let's make one more. And now I want to go to sculpting again. In sculpting, if I sculpt something, it will kind of go up like this, but I don't want it. Control Z to undo. Now go to layout, let's select the donut. Now go to sculpting again. If I right click and bring down the radius and strength to 1, by holding on control I can make it go in sculpting, and it will give a real uh, real good. I mean, realistic. You know, I can't explain. Well, make it look like just like a donut. If you have ever eaten, you should try to make this in Blender too. I think I'm doing one of the best tutorials in Blender for Blender beginner users. Just sculpt some parts of this. I'm pretty much done with this. Okay, next step, go to layout again, select the icing. Now go to sculpting again and change the draw type to graph and right click. Let's make it strength. Let's make the strength up to 0.6, let's say, and increase radius like this. If I grab it, it will be like this, and it's cool. Because I don't wanna make it very smooth because it won't look real if I do it. Just make some of these parts like this. So next up, go to layout again. Before shading it, I want to add sprinkles on this icing. For this, firstly Shift A and add a cylinder. Scale it down, scale it up, scale it down again. Move it to here to check if it fits. Scale it down. Now right click, shade smooth. Put this to here. Now what I'm gonna do is select the icing, and firstly I'm going to change the mode to wave paint, and I want to paint where are my sprinkles gonna be. And I'm gonna paint these parts because I want my sprinkles to be here. Well, now go to object mode again. In here, vertex, here in object data properties actually. Let's change the name of group to sprinkles density. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do next is go to geometry nodes. I can actually do it in particle settings too, but it will be much better in geometry nodes. And click on new, Shift A, add join geometry node. Put this to here. And now I want to add distribute points on faces node. Put it to here. And now add instance on points node and connect points to points, instance to geometry of the join geometry node. Let's move to here and bring the cylinder object info node to here and geometry to instance here. Turn on these as instance and pick instance. I'm using instance word a lot, like an instance. Well, now next step I'm going to add rotate Euler. Rotate Euler. Is this Euler? Okay, put this to here. Change it to local, rotation to rotation, this rotation to also rotation. And next I'm going to add a random value node. Put this to here, connect the value of it to rotate by. Float to vector. Let's make this 0 and this one to 6. Okay, it's going well. Now I'm going to add math node and put it to here. Here with this button, connect this to mesh and change the mass to multiply actually, and value to here. No, actually, you know, I shouldn't connect this to here. Geometry should be connected to mesh, and value here to this one, and it's messing up. So let's Control Z and undo this. And now Now I can fix the problem. And geometry to mesh, and then next value to here, and this value to density. Oh, it's many, and let's make 500, let's say. It's really big now. To fix this, select a cylinder, Control A, apply scale, and rotate it by 90 degrees, and Control A again, apply rotation. Select this now. Next, I'm going to connect this value to rotate by. Okay, I think it's a lot. Let's make it 333. Well, now I can see there are some issues with the melting part, because so many sprinkles are even on this part. To fix this, in modifier settings, under geometry nodes modifier, let's click on this button, and in here select sprinkles density, and sprinkles density. Why it's not changing? Think I can fix this in white paint mode. Yeah, throw these parts like this. I think I painted a lot, so here is a problem. Well, now go to object mode. I can see still the problem is not fixed. Oh yeah, I should change the add to multiply. Okay, now the problem is fixed. I was wondering and worrying why I can see this. You can even change the seed in here if you want, if you don't like the location of the sprinkles. Now go to layout, and if we see it in rendered view, it will look like this, really dark, and I can see anything. To fix this, go to render properties, change the render engine to cycles, CPU to GPU, and let's make max samples to 300, and this one also 300. Turn on denoise, change it to optics, albedo and normal. Now in here to optics, albedo and normal. If you want your render to be faster, let's under light path change the max bounces to 4, transmission to 4, transparent to 0. Turn off these. These are not actually that important. Let's make it 1024. And under color management, change the look to medium contrast, and under film, turn on transparent. Now go to world properties, change the color to environment texture, and open an environment texture, select where you saved it and get it. Now if you want to get an environment texture, actually what I'm saying, if you want to get an HDRI file that I've just done, just open Google Chrome, type polyheaven.com. I will leave the link in the description of this too. And there are so many HDRIs, textures, and models in this website. You can browse HDRIs. I think the Wi-Fi connection is not that good, so you can just search it from here and find your HDRIs like this. So next, I'm gonna select the cylinder first. I want to give this random colors. For this, go to shading, press new. Now I want to add object info. Put it to here. Now I want to add a color ramp too. Put this one to here, connect color to base color, and random to factor. And let's add 3 more to here. Let's say 4 more. and put these like this as you want. Let's make this one green. Let's make this one blue, light blue. Let's make this one like pink, and this one as orange. This one should be like yellow, and the last one will be white. Now I want to select the icing and click on new. I want to change the color to light pink like this and bring down the roughness in here. Okay, I want to make it specular and increase the roughness a little. If I go to layout now, I can see it's perfectly being done. Now for the texture of the donut, I want to paint the texture. I just don't want to give the normal color. So I want to paint this in texture paint and click on new here. Make this one 2048. Name it donut texture. Donut texture. Okay. Okay. I go to shading by selecting the donut. Press new. Again, Shift A, add image texture. Put it here. Connect the color of the image texture to the base color of the principal BSDF. And select the donut texture from here that we have just made, and we are painting this. Let's change the color to a donut color, maybe like this, a bit darker. Paint it. Paint the whole scene first, and you can paint it later. Well, now I want to make it darker, like this. Decrease radius and strength too. You can even paint it from here if you want. Okay, now I'm gonna change the mix to overlay here. Now if I paint it, it will overlay the actual color of the donut like this. It's so cool then. Just paint it like this. It will be beautiful after the render. So now let's make it completely white. Strength to about 0.3 and radius is like this. Now let's paint these parts. Oh, let's paint it to mix first. Now just paint these parts. Let's increase strength a little bit. Okay, it's looking good now. Paint these parts of the donuts to make it look like baked, like a real one. If you have ever eaten, you can notice it. Well, now to save this image, click on this image and save it as donut texture. And I want to save it to desktop for now. Now, if I go to layout, here is our donut texture. Now I want to give it some micro displacement. For this, go to shading and add displacement first. Put this to here. Displacement should be connected to the material output displacement. Okay. Now in material properties under settings, change bump only to displacement and bump. Now what I'm gonna do next is to add noise texture here and duplicate the noise texture. And for now, I'm going to add color ramp. Put this to here. The factor should be connected to this, and this factor So, but before that, let's change the scale to 300, and this one 1500. Now let's add texture coordinate. Put it here. Object to vector of both noise textures. If I see it on the rendered view, it will look like this. If I change the scale, problem solved. And I change the scale to this. Okay, now I don't think it has any micro displacement. To have it, move it to here, to about here, and color it to height. Now I want to add mix RGB node too. I forgot this. Put this to here. Now factor to color 1. Now color of the color ramp should be connected to factor of mix node, and this factor should be here and here too. And here is the donut texture and displacement. Now to make it even better, add RGB curves node. Put it to here, click on this and move it to here, and you can see it will look even better when you do this. Now I want to add mix RGB again. Put it to here, change it to overlay, and connect this color to factor. Let's make it a donut color now. Now let's make this 2000, and this like 500. Okay, 500. I think it's not still enough. Let's make it 1200. Okay. Now let's move this a little bit to here. If I see it in layout, I think I'm completely done with the donuts and the icing. So, oh, I'm not done with this still. Now I want to add some candies, something like candies on the donut. Shift A and add a UV sphere, scale it down and shade smooth. You may give it subdivision surface to make it even smoother, and put it to here. And in material properties, let's make it light blue and bring down the roughness like this, and shift D to duplicate and put it to here, let's say, and shift D again on the y-axis, put this to here by moving it, and yeah, and again shift D and put this to here, and it will look much better. If I see it in render view now, it's really good. Now next step and final step, I want to make a plane and a plate, and I want to give it a little bit of animation to this. Shift A to add a plane and go to solid view for now. Plane should be a little down to here. Turn this off and change it to increment, and now I want to move the plane upper. For now it should be like this, and scale it up by 15 and give it any color. Actually I don't want to give it a color. For this I want to give a texture for this by going to Google Chrome and in PC0 textures. I can get any textures in this website. There are so many kinds of PBR materials in this. I wanna add marble texture. You can select any of these. I already downloaded these textures in my download section. I can see, where is that? Here. marble. And for now I want to select these JPG files and Control C to copy, and I want to paste them on my desktop. And I want to do the same. No, I don't want to do the same for anything. So for now, let's go to here, and by clicking on this principal shader, by selecting the plane I've just made, Control Shift E, and I want to select these images here and open it. And you can even see the displacement too, but I don't want the displacement. I don't need it. Okay, this is much better now. Let's scale it up to 2, let's say. Well, now before anything else, let's scale this plane down like this, let's say, and make another plane RX on the y-axis 90 degrees. Move it to here, scale it up, move it more like to about here, and I want to give it a brick texture. Okay, for this brick texture, when I click on new again, I already have the brick texture too in my download section here. Here, select these ones, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste the copy. Oh, why it's not working? Okay, let's try this by just dragging. Replace this. Oh yeah, okay. I see, I didn't choose a brick. Now I want to put this here. Okay, now if I go to Blender, I want to Control Shift T again and select these brick textures by holding on Control. Select this, Control, this, and open it. Well, it's good, but it's not as I want. I want to rotate it on the y-axis, on the x-axis actually, by 90 degrees. Move it a bit to here, and under settings, change it to displacement only. Okay, now go to layout. I want to set up the camera now. Before making the plate too, Shift A, add a camera here, and now Control Alt 0, and let's in here, out of properties, let's make it about like 1080 for both y and x axes. Place it like this, turn on camera to view, and change the rotation to 0, minus 90, and yeah, put this to here, and like this, move it to here, and select the icing, this again, R on the z-axis, rotate it to see it better. Okay, this one looks clean. So next I want to select the camera and move it a bit to here. Let's get this out of the scene, put it to here. So now what I'm going to do is to turn this off, and now I think go to layout, and if I see it, it will look like this. So we are not completely done with this, but by going to world properties now, let's change the strength to like 1.5. Okay, it's much better. And the bricks are not looking that good. To fix this, go to shading again, change these both scales to 2 in here, and move it a bit to there. Now finally I'll make the plate now. I'm definitely gonna add a plane. Shift A, add a plane. And in here, let's change this what here? Okay. In modifier settings, let's give the subdivision surface modifier, and it will look like this. Let's make it 2 or even 3. Yeah. Now next step, I'm going to move it down a little, and by going to edit mode, I'm gonna give it some lookouts by Control R. Okay. Control R. No, I think I don't have to give lookouts to this. Let's now subdivide this like this, 5, let's say. If I go to object mode, I can see this. So now what I'm gonna do is go to edit mode again, control before that, let's hide any other things from here. Control I and H. And by selecting this, go to edit mode now. Select these vertices here. Turn on this, G and Z to move. To move it down like this. Okay, I think it's gonna be a square like plate. Okay, now I think I'm done with this too even. Now I'm gonna give it a color in object mode, of course. I'm gonna make it white completely, and Alt H to unhide all the things. Now if I see it in rendered view, okay, it will look like this. If I move the plate up, oh, first select the plate. Let's name it plate. Move it up like this, and you may set up the exact location of the donut and others. First, let's select these candies here, and these Control P object. If I want to move this now, it will follow, others will follow. Now let's move it down to make it like this. Okay, it's good now. I think the next step is to animate it. Yeah, I'm done with it. Now I have to animate it only. Now I want to select the donut and the plate, and if I move it, everything will move. Now I want to go to shading view now before animating it, and wait it to complete the shaders. Now G and Shift Z to move on the X and Y axes only. Let's move it to about here. Yeah, and I to insert and location on rotation. And by going to about 40 frames, let's move this to here. G Shift Z and put it to like here. And now rotate this a little bit on the Z axis like this. I, location and rotation. If I see it, it will look like this, but it's not what I actually want. To fix this, open another tab here like this and change it to graph editor. Select every keyframes here too by pressing A, and right click interpolation mode to Bezier, and let's reduce this window. If I now animate the animation, it will look like this, and it's so realistic. Let's make it 60 frames per second. No, actually, let's make it only 60 frames. That's what I meant. Now, I am almost done with this. I could actually make a cup of coffee too, but I'm gonna take it from Blender Kit. I will leave the link in the description of the Blender Kit too also. Let's put this to here. Now let's select this, scale it up just like this. Now it's scaled up. Let's close this window. Close it from here too. Now for you now to render it, just go to output properties here and change the file format to FFmpeg video, and under encoding change the quality to high quality and Matroska to MPEG-4 and encoding speed to real time. Well, I should check if there's no problem here. I think the samples are really fit on the render. I think I can't I can't describe it. It's looking really good in this scene now. I think time to render first. To render it, click on this file button here and select where your animation is gonna be. Let's say donut animation, and click on accept. And I forgot to mention that before you save the file of the donut here, click on this file and external data, pack resources. It's gonna pack all the textures and models into the blend file. If you don't do it, it will not be good. And file now, save as. Let's say donut animation. I want to save it to my desktop. Okay. Now next step is render animation. It's gonna render your animation in some hours, maybe an hour only. So thanks for your attention, guys.
Storyblocks Audio.